पिछली
But
बार
it's a
आप
very
हाँ
lucrative offer.
2020 को ज्यादा थी, 21 को भी थी, लेकिन इस बार कम आने वाली। सिविल की
लास्ट
तो
सीट्स जो ज्यादा थी शायद 2014 से पहले ही थी, उससे ज्यादा
हाँ
उसके
हाँ
बाद नहीं थी।
हाँ
नहीं 18 को भी थी ना, 18 को भी कुछ तो 1019
नाही
कुछ तो थी।
अरे यावेळेस आपलं अभियांत्रिकीचा पण विषय होणार आहे बरं का, पुढे एमसीक्यू आपलं हे नाही होणार ना, रिटर्न.
एमपीएससी ना,
डिस्क्रिप्टिव्ह
हा
एमपीएससी.
हो माहिती आहे ते मला.
नयन,
हाँ
ये सीसी वाले कुछ क्वेश्चंस है क्या तुम्हारे पास?
भाई, मैं कितने दिनों से मांग रहा हूँ मैं उनको, इस बच्चों को. मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन नहीं है सीसी का. तो सीसी क्या है, क्या आता है वो भी पता नहीं.
हाँ,
ये
वो
डेली.
यही बता दे कि सेंट पॉन्डी से आता है, वही कर ले।
गुड मॉर्निंग गाइस,
गुड
गुड
मॉर्निंग
मॉर्निंग
सर.
सर.
हो गया तुम्हारा डिस्कशन?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
मॉर्निंग सर, वेटिंग फॉर यू ओनली.
ओके,
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
यस सर.
सर.
Okay,
सर
so in last class we are exploring about CSS. So let's continue further. Let me open that folder. Okay, so we are discussing about the tag selector, and we are discussing about this ID selector. So in which case we are going to use this ID selector? Yes,
or
when we
different
want to
paragraph for different colors.
specific.
yes. When you want to apply different CSS on each of the element, then in that case we would like to go with this ID selector. Now there comes one more selector. Let's explore it. So we are very much familiar with this tag selector and this ID selector. Now let's explore about class selector. So what will be the role of this class selector? Suppose in our HTML document, I'm having these three paragraphs, and let's say I'm having one H1 element in which I'm writing this heading 1, another HTML H1 element that I'm writing that is heading 2, and again I'm having one anchor tag which I'm using to display any link. Let's say I'm giving a link to visit Flipkart application, to visit Flipkart, and let's give the hyper reference like https://www.flipkart.com. Okay, and one more anchor tag is there, and that anchor tag is to visit the Amazon application. Visit Amazon, and there is going to be some URL for the Amazon applications. Okay, so we are having three paragraph elements, two H1 elements, and two anchor elements. Now, what I want to do is, let me write for you. I want to apply some CSS, some same CSS, like I want a red color text, right? I want a red color text, but on which elements I want this red color text. So those are, let's say uh, first and second paragraphs. Okay, so first and second P tags, and second H1 tag, and second A tag, right? So just try to understand the scenario. I want to give red color to first and second paragraph, and red color to the second H1 tag, and red color to the second anchor tag. This means this these two paragraphs and this heading to H1 and this visit Amazon link. I want to show these text in red color. So what we can do, what can be the possible way for do this, for achieving this task? If you are using the tag selector and ID selector, then how we are supposed to do it? Just try to figure it out.
By using ID selector.
Yes. So we can give
To assign same ID, whichever.
see, we have to give different ID to each element. We can't give only same ID like ID P1 to this paragraph and ID P1 again to the second paragraph. We just can't do it. So we can use the different IDs like first paragraph is having ID P1, second paragraph is having ID P2. Then for hash P1, just write red color. Then for hash P2, again, we must have to write the red color for that. And for the second H1 also, we can give a different ID like heading 1, and we are supposed to write that red color on itself, right? So yes, exactly. So if you want to simplify this thing, so just simply don't go with this ID selector. Then instead of ID, we are supposed to go with this class selector. So in which case we are going to use this class selector when suppose you want to apply some CSS on multiple HTML elements. Like you are having the same CSS for the paragraphs, for the H1 and for the anchor tags, and you want to select few of them only. Okay, so we are supposed to go with this class selector. So now in which scenario we are going to use this class selector? When few elements should have the common CSS. Okay, so whenever your HTML document is having few HTML tags, few tags, those are receiving the common CSS. So for that purpose, we will be using the class selector. Although you can also go with ID, but again for this ID, but again for each ID, you have to write the same CSS again and again. So instead of using this ID, we are going to use this class selector. So this means ID will be used where to identify any element uniquely, right? If in your HTML you want to identify any element uniquely, then you have to go with this ID. And in which case we are going to use the class. So to identify elements commonly, right? To identify the elements in the same way, we are going to use this class selector, right? So in so as we are applying this ID, so in the same way we are going to apply the class attribute on our HTML elements. Like suppose we want to identify these two paragraphs in the same way, so we are going to use instead of ID, we are going to use this class selector. So just to give them a class, and we can give same class to multiple HTML elements, but ID must have to be unique. So let's say I'm applying the class as I'm giving the class as red, and in the same way, the second paragraph is also receiving like class red. You can give any name of the class as you want. Let's say I'm giving a class name as red text, this also red text, and we want this second heading to be of red color. So again, I would like to write a class that is red text, And again, I want the second anchor tag to receive the red color. So I would like to write a class that is red text. So you can see I am applying the same class to first and second paragraph, to the second H1 tag, and to the last anchor tag. And how many times we are supposed to write the CSS for this class selector? Only one time.
One time.
Yeah. So how we are going to write the CSS for the class selector? So instead of writing the name of tag and instead of writing the value of ID, we are going to write the name of our class. So a name of our class is red text. But again, whenever you are writing uh, any selector name directly, it is going to read this thing as a tag name. Okay, but we want to consider this value should be as a class selector. So in that case, we have to apply a dot. Okay, if you are having any tag, so you can simply directly write the tag name. If you are having ID, you have to write hash, then value of ID. If you are having a class, then you have to write dot and the name of the class. And let me give it a red color. Okay, so this is how class selector is going to work. So when you are having unique CSS for every element, go with ID. If you are having same CSS for few elements, then go with the class. Okay. So this is your deciding factor of using either we have to go with ID or we have to go with the class. Let me run this application on the browser. Okay, so you can see this in this example, we are having these two paragraphs and the second heading and this second link is being displayed as a red text. Okay, so this is the use of class selector. So all of you understood this?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
just
Yes, sir.
Okay.
can you just explain the line number 4 once again?
Yeah. Suppose whenever you are having ID, so what's the syntax of writing the ID selector?
Hash.
Hash.
Yes.
Hash.
For ID, we have to write this hash and the value of ID. So whenever we are supposed to write the name of class, so you can just directly name your class as red text. But if you directly are writing this value, it will be considered as what? ID, class, or tag name without any symbol.
Yes.
It will be considered as what? As a tag.
As a
Yes.
tag,
It
yes,
will be
as a tag
considered as,
without a yes.
but if we are writing hash, then it will be considered as,
Value of that ID.
yes, value of that ID. Right. But now we want this red text to behave as a class selector. So instead of writing the hash, we will use this dot symbol. So this dot is going to instruct your browser that there must be an element with this ID red text. If you're writing hash, it will be considered as ID. And there, if you're writing this class, it will be considered as a class selector. Okay.
So what is dot? Can you repeat? What is
Dot
dot?
is just a syntax to indicate your browser to read it as a class value. In the same way, when you are writing the hash, so hash is a syntax to indicate that this is the value of ID, right? So in the same way, when you want to consider the class selector, you have to go with this dot. That's the syntax of writing the CSS. You, all of you understood this hash? You all know about this hash.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what exactly by writing hash we are writing here?
We are declaring
Value of
that
ID.
we are
ID.
declaring
They are
ID.
referring to
First
as an
paragraph.
ID.
yes. So now there must be some difference so that our browser can understand that uh, should we consider it as a tag name or should we consider it as a ID selector or should we consider it as a class selector. So to differentiate in between them, so we are having a convention. Whenever you are writing the tag name, you can write name of the tag directly without any symbol. But when you are writing this hash, your browser will consider this as an ID. So when I'm suppose going to refresh this page, so you are able to see that no text is being displayed in red color. Why? Why so?
ID is common.
ID is not common. We haven't applied ID like red text. Have we applied ID red
No.
text on
No,
any
we are
No,
HTML?
no.
providing,
No, sir.
No, sir.
declaring the
No.
declaring
Declaring,
it
yeah.
element, but not providing the
This is searching for what?
element.
And
Element
ID.
ID.
this is searching for ID value. Like
Yes.
there must be some element with ID red text, but we are not having that such element. So that's why it is not applying the CSS. So now what kind of selector we are using? This is class. So we have to instruct our browser that please consider this red text as a value of ID. Then how we are going to specify it? By just putting a dot as a prefix. So whenever you are writing this dot as a prefix, your browser is going to consider this value as a class selector. Okay. So whenever you are writing this dot, your browser is going to consider this red text as a class value. So you can consider your VS Code is itself suggesting that there must be an element with class red text, and this is going to consider it. Okay, so all of you understood this syntax?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So in which case we will use this class selector?
If we want to apply some
Multiple
common
ID.
CSS tool,
When the elements having
Same
unique
CSS to many
multiple
HTML
Elements.
elements.
right? So you have to go with this class. And if you want to apply unique CSS, then you have to go with ID. Right? Okay. So this is how we are going to work with the class selector. And whenever you are writing the CSS, it's your duty just to identify that when we have to use this ID selector and when we have to go with the class selector itself. Okay.
And when
Sir, in
Yes.
line number 4,
Mhm.
red text, is it underscore red hash text
This is
or
not underscore. This is hyphen symbol, like minus symbol.
no, before the red? Before the red
Yeah. Before red, it is dot.
dot. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
and what will be scenario for the tag selector, sir?
What will be?
Yeah, scenario for tag selector.
Yeah. Suppose if you are having lots of H1 elements on your web page and you want to give the same CSS to all of the H1 only, then you have to write the selector like H1.
It will also be written with the hash, right?
No, 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 no. If you want to write the tag name, then you can directly write. Like suppose in my HTML page, suppose there are 50 H1 elements and I want to select those all 50 H1 tags. So in that case, I will not go with the ID or I will not go with the tag. Oh, sorry, I will not go with the class. I would like to go with this tag selector, and whatever be the same CSS I want to apply on it, I can use this. So this selector is going to identify or select all the H1 elements on your web page. Only and only the H1 elements, right? Suppose if you want to apply the same property to, let's say, some paragraphs, and let's say some same property to buttons also, then in that case we have to go with the class selector.
We can use that class selector for headings also, right?
Yes, this ID attribute and the class attribute can be applied to any element. These are not exclusive only for, let's say, for paragraph or for any H1 tag. No, we can apply ID to all of the HTML tags, and we can give class also to every HTML tag. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's explore some more CSS properties. so that we can make our page more attractive as we are developing now. Okay, so just right before starting the next CSS properties, let's try to understand one more HTML tag that we are going to use this heavily, that is the div tag. Okay, so in HTML we are having this tag that is div. So by reading its name, what we can consider about this?
Division.
Division. Is
Divide.
that the arithmetic division?
Partition.
Partition can be
This division is referring to a partition. So whenever onto your web page you want to display some partitions, or you want to have some divisions, like at the top we want some navigation bar, at the bottom we want some footer, and in between we have to display three sections. So using this div tag, we are going to design the layout or the structure of our web page, right? So div simply is representing our division on any web page. So you can consider div as a container of all the HTML elements. Let me write a point about this div tag. So this div tag is for, I think someone has mic on. Okay, so this div tag is for creating division, or let's say partition, on a web page. But by default, any div element is not having the width and height of its own. Okay, it's the responsibility of developer to give the width and height. Okay, so let me write this point also. By default, div tag has no width and height of its own. Okay, so the width and height will be depending on the content. So by default, so let's say by default div tag will occupy width and height same as of the content. So whatever be the content you are displaying inside the div, it will occupy the width and height of the same content as much you are displaying in your division. Let's say in your division, you are having one h1 tag and you are having one paragraph tag. So the height occupied by this h1 and the height occupied by your paragraph will be the total height of your div. Okay, so by default the width and height will depend on the content which you are displaying inside your division. And also a developer can define the width and height of any division by writing some CSS. Okay, so also a developer can define width and height by writing some CSS. Okay, by writing CSS. So this is the functionality of div. So by default, uh, a div is just a logical separation for your any HTML element, and you can contain lots of HTML elements inside a div. So let me write this point also. So div tag acts as a container of HTML elements. Okay, so suppose in any section you are having one h1 tag, one paragraph tag, and one button tag. So you want to display these all the things onto a section. So just have a div tag, and inside that div, just place your h1, place your paragraph, and place your button tag inside it. So div tag acts as a container of HTML element, and by default div tag has no width and height of its own. uh, it will occupy the height and width of your content, but still a developer can define the divisions width or height by writing the CSS. Okay, so let me have a division. So we are having a division tag here, which is the div, and I'm going to write one h1 tag inside it. Let's say I'm writing a text like this is heading, and below this I'm having this paragraph element, and in this paragraph I'm writing a text like this is a dummy para element. Okay, so by default this div is going to occupy the height of this content and occupy the width, which is the width occupied by this content. So let me show you how this division is going to look. Okay, so your division looks like this. So let me first of all inspect this so that you can see your division's dimension, right? So just try to focus on your screen when I'm hovering on this div. So you can see this div is highlighting. So this div is indicating that this is heading and this is dummy para element is being considered inside this div. And also you can give the width and height of your choice to this div element. And just to look at the width and height, that how much width and how much height it is occupying, we can give its background color. Okay, so just to have a look at what exactly the width and the height will be occupied by this div. So we want to write CSS onto this div element. So for that purpose, I'm writing the tag selector. Okay, so I'm writing the name of tag as a selector, and to give the width, we can use this width property. And let's say I'm giving width as 400 pixels. So just see that for writing the pixel, I'm using a unit that is px. So you have to write this unit px or any unit like pc or inches or in centimeter. There are lots of units in the CSS. Okay, so we will write px for the pixel. And for the height, let's say I'm again writing the same value, that is 400 pixel. So now our div is going to take a width and height of 400 by 400. This means we are creating a square. So let me just refresh it. So you can see there is no change, but internally this div is having width and height as the 400 pixels. This means 400 by 400 division we are creating here. So now you can see when I'm hovering on this div tag, you are able to see that this is heading. Let me zoom out this first to its original dimension. Yeah. So this is the actual dimension. So you can see when I'm putting cursor onto this div tag, so you can see the blue highlighted background. So you are able to see that this blue highlighted background is occupying the width of 400 pixel and the height of 400 pixel, and also at the bottom, right? And also at the bottom of this div, you are able to see its dimension like 400 by 400. So this is how you are going to give the width and height to your division. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can also give a background to this division. To give a background color, we will use the CSS property that is background color. And let me give its background color as, for example, red. But by default, all the text are being displayed in the red color. So let's say I want to apply the white text color to H1 and to the P element. So let me first of all show you that. Yeah, so you are able to see your division. Your division's dimension is 400 by 400, and you are able to see your text in the black color. Now, I want to apply the white font on this H1 as well as on this paragraph element. Now what we can do,
Class.
you can go with the class. So let's say I'm giving a class to this H1 like white text, and again to this paragraph element I'm writing this white text. So what will be the syntax of writing this class selector in CSS?
Dot white.
Dot white
Dot
text.
class.
White text.
Exactly. We have to go with this dot white,
White text.
and just simply apply a color property that is white. So now just refresh it. So you are able to see your text in white color, and this is your division. But inside this division, you are seeing that there is no internal spaces. Are you guys able to see it? There is no internal spaces.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
From top and from left, there is no internal space. Now, if you want to apply some internal space inside any division or inside, let's say, any of the HTML component. So what we are trying to do is we have to apply the internal spaces. Right. So how we are going to write some internal spaces, how we are going to manage the internal spaces of any component. So to manage the internal spaces, we have to go with this padding property. So this CSS padding property is going to apply some spaces that would be the inside of any element, right? Internal spaces, you can see it, or you can see the spaces that is inside any HTML component. Okay, so this padding property is going to apply the spaces inside of any element. So if you want some inside spaces or internal spaces, then we are going to use this padding property, and we can apply this padding property in 4 sites. So we can apply padding in 4 sides. What are that 4 sides are going to be? So first side will be your left. You can apply padding to the left. This means if I'm going to apply the left padding, then this is going to apply some internal spaces from this left side. And suppose if you are going to apply this padding on the top, then internally this means from inside of this division, this is going to give a space from the top. Okay, so you can apply this padding property on left side. You can apply this padding property on the top. Same way, you can apply this padding property on the right, and also you can apply this padding to the bottom. So these are the 4 sides you can apply this padding property, right? On left, top, right, and bottom. So let me show you how we are going to write this left padding. So if suppose we want to apply this left padding, then in CSS we are getting one property that is padding left, and for this padding left property we can give a value, like for example I'm giving a value that is 30 pixels. Now what we should expect from this?
30 pixel will left in
All text will move
Yes,
right
the
side,
left margin 30
Towards the left side 30 pixels.
margin.
right side.
text is going to be shifted to the 30 pixel in left. So let me refresh it. So you
Right.
can see
30 pixel right.
yes,
Right.
you are applying this 30 pixel padding. So just answer it. Where we are applying this left side 30 pixel gap, inside this division or outside this division?
Inside.
Inside the division.
Exactly.
Inside the
So
division.
to give the internal spaces, we have to go with this padding property, and specifically this padding left is going to apply the internal spaces onto the left side. If suppose we are supposed to apply padding onto the top, then we are having this property as padding top. And I'm just giving a value like padding top should be the 40 pixels. So let me refresh it. So you are able to see that from the top, we have shifted all of the content to the 40 pixels. Okay, so this 40 pixels is being shifted from the top, and again, that is the internal space. And in the same way, you can apply also the padding right property and the padding bottom property. Okay, so all of you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
To select any color, we need to write its name.
yes.
So does VS Code does not provide us any drop down from which we can choose any color?
Yes, it is going to give you a drop down, but that's not the feature of every IDE. And every time we are not supposed to write the name of that color. What exactly will be the name? It's not a responsibility to remember, since in this entire real world, we are having millions of colors and we are not supposed to remember the name of each color. Then this is not a single way, only way to give the value of colors. We are having a lot more ways to write the value of color. Like, let me show you that ways to write the color value. So one way of writing the color value is just to name your color. Second way is to use that hexadecimal code. And the third way of applying the color value is by using this RGB function. So these are the three ways in which we are able to give any color value. Either you can go with this name of the color, or you can write this hexadecimal code for that color, and this RGB function, right? So now someone when someone is using this VS Code, he or she can directly use this color picker, right? But that's not the case with every IDE or any code editor. Okay, some support it and some are not going to support this, but still you can use your internet, and you can just search Google for the color picker, and you will be able to find any website. So let me show you a website which I personally prefer to use it. So that is materialui.co/colors. I personally use this website. Okay. So there are lots of color values which you are seeing on your screen. You can pick any color of your choice, and also you can go with the social media background colors. So I'm exploring this, so you can see you are having the lots of background colors for every social media. You can also pick them. Okay, so let me go with this material. Okay, so there are lots of options on our screen. So let's consider that I want to apply this kind of right color on my division. So what I need to do is I just have to select this type of color, and just paste the value where you want to apply this background color. Let's say I'm going to apply this value, that is 6C62828. You don't have to remember this code. You just have to select this, and that code is being automatically copied, and you just have to paste it. And before this value, you just have to write the hash. So hash will be considered as a hexadecimal code for this color value, and your VS Code is suggesting that this is your background color, right? So it is not necessary that every time we are going to write the name of color. You can go with this hexadecimal code also, and that's the real-time case. In any application, we are not supposed to write the name of the let's say red color or blue color or any color, because there are millions of combinations of colors. Okay, we are not supposed to remember the name of every possible combination. So in that case, we will use any picker element, and from this we can pick any color and we just simply display it. Okay, and let me refresh it for you. So now you can see this division is occupying the background color from this hexadecimal code. Okay, so all of you guys understood it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one more spacing property is there, that is the margin. So what we have seen in this padding, so this property is going to apply the internal spaces. Now what should be the margin property?
Margins for the division.
So margin means what? Internal spaces, or it would
External,
be
external.
Outside,
external, the
External.
spaces which is outside the element.
as per the
So
page.
exactly. So margin is going to apply. So margin is going to apply spaces that is outside of any element. So if you want to apply spaces to any division or to any element that is outside it, we are supposed to go with this margin property. And again, we are going to apply margin onto these four sides, that is left, top, right, and bottom. Okay. So let me show you its syntax. So suppose I want to shift this whole division from the left side. So I would like to go with this margin left. So this margin left is going to apply the margin onto the left side. So let me write this value margin left as, for example, 30 pixel. Then let me refresh it. Yeah. So you can see this whole division has been shifted to the left side. So this means we are having the left side margin as 30 pixel. And also you can give a margin from the top side. So margin top, let's say I'm giving the value the same like 30 pixel. So the whole division will be shifted from the top. This means it is going to maintain. So this is going to maintain the outer spaces from this division. Okay, so this is the margin property. So all of you understood the difference between the margin and the padding property?
Sir,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
can we use align to center here for a whole leading it into the center?
You can definitely use one CSS property to align your content inside the division, and that property is text align. You can write the value as center. You can write the value as left. So by default, alignment is left for any HTML element. You can write the value as center, or you can write value as a right, or you can write a value as justified.
For image also.
Yeah, so you can see that this text is aligned to the center, but as of now we are also giving some left padding and some top padding also. Okay, so since I'm giving this padding left property, I'm just commenting it so that you are able to see this at the center. Okay, so this is how this text align is going to work.
But then also, sir, the text align class is gonna override that padding class, right?
See, whenever you are going to apply this text align, this is going to persist your padding property also. Suppose if you are applying this padding that is 30 pixel from the left, so then it will align the center. So if you are aligning any element content to the center, then it will also persist the padding left property. And then after applying the padding property, this is going to put your content into the center. It will not ignore that padding left property.
How to align a single element in the division, like
align-
only heading or only paragraph in center.
We have also studied it. If you want to apply some property onto a specific element, then give it an ID and just write that specific property onto that element. So just give ID to this H1 and write text align equal to center
So it will give a center
alignment.
inner division, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is that for image align in center?
Okay, if you want to align any image onto this center, you have to go with this margin. See, if you want to align any division or any button component or any image or any table or any form to the center, then we have to go with this margin. Let me show you that how we are going to use this margin to align a whole section to the center. So for achieving that, we just have to learn one more thing. That is, whenever we are going to apply the margin, we are using these four properties, like we are using margin left, we are using this margin top, and one would be your margin bottom, and one would be your margin right, right? So these are the four sides where specifically we can give the margins. But also, we are getting one margin shorthand property, only the margin. Okay, so let me show you that property. So instead of giving this specific margin left and margin top, I'm giving a value that is only a margin. Okay, I'm writing a CSS property that is only margin. So this is the shorthand property for applying the margin on the four sides. So how we are going to write the margin value? So let's say if I have given the value as 30 pixel. So what should be the expected behavior of it? So this 30 pixel is going to be applied on the total four sides, right? So the 30 pixel will be applied onto the left, 30 pixel will be applied on the top, on the right, and as well as at the bottom. If you are using this margin shorthand property, so this margin shorthand property is going to apply the same margin onto the each side, and same thing goes with this padding property also. So you can also use this padding shorthand property. So this shorthand property is going to apply the same padding value on every side. So this means on the left, on the top, on the right, and on to the bottom. There will be the same, there is going to be the same padding value, that is 40 pixel. Now, with this margin shorthand property or this padding shorthand property, let me show you the output. Okay, so you can see this. All the sides are supposed to have the same amount of padding, and from outside also, on each side you will be able to see the same amount of margin. So this is how this shorthand property for padding and margin is going to work.
But sir, so from right side it is not 30 pixel.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Why is it happening so? Because width is only what, 400 pixel. So how it will apply the 30 pixel to right also?
So the text is not achieving that area, right?
No, but we are applying this margin on completely that division box. So
Sir, what if
You
we
are
apply
applying
40?
margin, you are applying margin, but just consider this. What width you are giving?
400.
400. You are giving the width 400. So
Yes.
whenever our screen is being considered, we are having suppose a screen of, let's say, 1080 pixels. So how is it going to occupy the complete width?
Yes, वो बाहर जाएगा. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So once again, we can give two values also to this margin shortened property. Like suppose I'm writing this 50 pixel. When we are writing the single value, this is going to apply the same value on each side. Now suppose whenever I'm giving this 50 pixel and 30 pixel, so what it is going to do? So just see that you have to read this value in clockwise direction. This means first of all 30 will be applied on the top, and 50 will be applied on the right side. And just again, it is going to repeat the same value for the bottom and for the left side. So this 30 will be applied on the top, 50 will be applied on the right, and for the bottom, what value it is going to consider?
30,
50.
30 pixel. And for the left, what value?
50.
50 pixels.
Yes, it is going to consider 50. So if you are giving two values here, this is going to apply these values in alternate directions. So 30 and 50. So 30 will be applied to top and bottom, and 50 will be applied to right and the left side. Now you can also give four values. Let's say I'm giving 40 pixel, and let's say I'm giving this 18 pixel. So you just have to read all of these values in clockwise direction. So 30 pixel will be applied at the top, 50 at the right. Now 40 will applied at which side? 40.
Bottom.
Yes, 40 will be applied at
Bottom.
bottom, and this 18 will be applied just to the left side. Okay, so this is how this margin property is supposed to work. Now,
Sir?
yes.
Can you repeat the 12th line?
Yes. Whenever you are using this margin shorthand property and you are giving four values, so just read these four values in clockwise direction. So whenever we are reading these values in clockwise direction, so this means what? 30 will be applied at which side?
Top of it.
Yes, 30 will be applied at top, 50 will be applied to right, 40 at the bottom, and 18 will be at left. Okay, so
Anti-clockwise. It is
clockwise.
Clockwise.
Sir, it will always start
30
from
will
top.
be
right to the clockwise to the clock, but
in clockwise direction.
Sir,
You have to
when
understand
two
this
values are
clockwise or
given, then
anti-clockwise. Yes,
so when two values are given, then
Looping.
two values are given, then also read it clockwise, and it will repeat those values. Like 30 will be applied at top, 50 will be applied at right, and again this 30 will be repeated at the bottom, and for the left this 50 will be repeated.
okay, sir.
Okay,
Sir,
so yes,
Sir, I have one more. Sir, can you please show that output
yes,
web page?
I'm going to show you. For four values or for two values?
No. General outputs, general. Before this margin, we are applying margin.
Okay, so let me first comment this margin property.
Yes.
Sir, didn't get that clockwise, anti-clockwise thing.
By default, this is going to work in clockwise direction. So this is the by default place for your division. And suppose when I'm going to apply the margin, that is the margin 30 pixels and margin 50 pixels. So 30 will be considered for
Top.
which side?
Top.
Top. And 50 will be considered from left and right.
Right.
So 30 will also get considered for bottom also.
Yes, for bottom also 30 will be considered. So you can,
So it's just another method for giving values to padding and margin, right?
no. Yes. This is the another way. So one way is to write the individual side property like margin left, margin top, or margin bottom. So instead of using this, you can also go with this margin shorthand property.
Okay, sir, got it.
Sir,
So,
is there any way to align whole division as in center or?
I'm going to show you this.
And sir, what if we used only one value? The left thing is
If you
shifting
are using
more.
only one value, then it will apply that same value on each side. Let's say I'm writing 30 pixel. So
Yeah.
every side is going to have this 30 pixel.
So, but when we are seeing the website, the left side margin is more.
It's because by default some let's say 7 or 8 pixel margin is already applying onto your division by your browser. It's by default there in your, let me first comment it, just observe this. See this, we are having this margin. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
This
Right.
margin is applied by default onto the left side by your browser.
Okay.
So now there comes one thing. Suppose I want to align this entire division at the center of the page. Now just imagine a division. Let me open that paint application so that we can have a better. Let's say this is our entire web page width. Okay, so this is our this box is representing our browser screen. This is the web page. Now, if a div is at center, then what amount of margin you are able to see at left and right?
Same.
Equal. Same.
Yes. Just to place a division at the center, we have to apply the equal margin on the left and equal margin on the right. But if suppose I'm giving margin left as 1 pixel, margin right at margin right again same as 1 pixel. So 1 and 1 are also the same. Will it going to put your div at the center?
No.
No.
No, exactly. So we are relying on the browser. So we are going to instruct our browser that please place our division at the center by calculating the margin at the left and by calculating margin at the right by yourself. So we have to tell the browser that please calculate the margin at the left and please calculate the margin at the right and please apply the equal margin at the left and right and put this division at the center. Right? We are going to instruct our browser on this. So how we are going to make it possible? So let's say I'm going to shift this division from the top 30 pixels and from the left and right, I want my browser to calculate that value by itself. So I would like to write a property value that is auto, right? So auto means what? Our browser is going to calculate this auto value by itself. So where this auto value will be applied, onto top or bottom or to left or right?
Right and
Right.
left.
Yes, this value is going to be applied on left side and as well as right side. So margin left is auto, margin right will be auto. So now your browser is going to calculate that how much margin we have to apply at left, how much margin should be applied at right to put this division at the center. So let me refresh it. Okay, so you are able to see this entire division at this center, and from the top you are able to shift this division 30 pixels.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is how we are going to place our any content like any division or any form or it may be any image at the center. Okay, is it clear?
Sir, if we want to centerline the image, then we can use padding as auto.
Yes, you can also go with the padding value, but if you are giving the padding, so what will happen? Let me show you. Okay, suppose this is your entire web page. This box is your entire web page, and inside that box, I have displayed one image. Okay, so suppose this image is acquiring the dimension like 200 by 200. Okay, so this image is acquiring a dimension like 200 by 200. So when you give a margin, so this entire division, will be shifted to the center. Okay, so this image division will have the same dimension of 200 by 200. Okay, and this entire division will be shifted to the center. So this is the case with margin. But suppose if you are giving the padding value, then what will happen? Image will be displayed at the center, but it will acquire the a lot more width and it will acquire a lot more height as much as you are giving the padding value. So this is going to be the case whenever you are going to use the padding. So this component will be applying padding at the left. This component is applying padding at the right. So the internal spaces is increasing. So this means overall the width is also increasing and overall height is also increasing. Are you able to see the difference?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are increasing the internal spaces, then that containers dimension are also going to increase. Okay, so this is the difference between padding and the margin. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Uh,
Sir,
so
what is general width of our display, sir, in pixel?
this depends on screen to screen. If your screen is supporting like a 4K display, then you are having 4000 pixels width. If you are having HD screen that may support up to let's say 1080 pixel, it totally depends on your screen to screen. If you are suppose having a normal IPS display that is not supporting any HD resolution, then your screen might be having pixel ratio like 540 to 480. If you are having full HD, then it may be your 1080 pixel by 2160 pixel. Have you ever explored the dimensions like uh, HD, full
Yes,
HD,
yes,
and
4K.
Yes.
4K also,
Yes.
yes, 4K.
4K display, right? So those are the dimension of different kind of screens.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So this HTML file is a platform independent or dependent because we have to create a new file for each device.
Mm.
Front end.
See, there is no such concept of compiler for HTML and CSS. You are just writing this code and you are just directly running this code. Okay, so you can directly run this code onto any machine as you want. So there is no such relation like we are compiling this code once and we are getting bytecode and we are executing that anywhere. Okay, so in HTML and CSS we are having no compiler, so there is no such issue like we have to compile it again and again like in C programming. And suppose if you are having that Java program, you can compile it once and you can run it on any machine as you want because you are getting the bytecode from the Java compiler. So as far as this HTML CSS is concerned, you just write the code and the script is directly executing on your browser. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
here we created white text class
Mhm.
and we only apply color property to it.
Mhm.
Can we apply another properties to this particular class?
Yes, you can apply any of the property to this class, but there should be the meaning in the name also. Okay, we have to follow the semantics also. If my class is white text, then according to the name, I should only give the white color. If suppose I'm making this text as bold also, then in that case, we have to change the name of class just to maintain the readability of that class.
So if we make a general name of class,
Yes,
whatever,
you can give. Yes.
so
So according
that properties only will further that text which we have written in H1 and paragraph.
exactly.
So we can do this margin left, margin right for that particular text inside division.
Yes, you can also give any property like margin, padding, or any background related property. So in that case, just don't write the name of class as white text because it
White
is going to affect the readability.
Right. We have to make general name.
Yes, exactly. So according to syntax, you can write, but according to semantics, we have to change the name.
Right.
You can change font size also.
Yes, we can also change the font size. Let's do one thing. So let's create a login page and we will apply a lot more properties onto that login page. Like we can apply the font We can apply some text related properties, some background images or some background colors or any kind of property. So we are going to apply these values onto a login page. Yeah.
Amazon login page.
So let's create a login page, and I'm going to show you its layout, that what kind of layout we are going to have on that login page. So this outer box will be your entire web page. So at this center of this page, we are going to create one login division. This means one login form. Okay, so at the center of this page, we are going to create a login form. So on the top of this division, we will write a heading like login, and just below it, we will create an input field for username, and one input field for the password, and there must be one submit button, that is one login button, and just below the login button, we are going to have a text like do you need account? So please go to the sign up page. We are going to show the sign up link, and also we are going to give a forgot password link. Okay, so this will be the user interface of our login page.
Sir,
okay. Yes,
also include an image, please.
yes, yes. So image, what background image or any
Look,
Background, background
The
image.
background image.
okay,
also.
sure. Okay, so I will include a background image. So let's do one thing. First of all, I will apply a background color onto this body, which is the behind our division, and then I will apply a background image for you. Okay, so what should be the preferred way of achieving this user interface? First of all, we will write its HTML, and then we will write its CSS. So let me create a new file. I'm naming this file as login.html. So first of all, let's create HTML tag and the head tag, and this head is going to contain the title tag, and in this title tag, let me write welcome to login, and just after it, we are creating this body tag. Yeah, and whenever we have to put all of these elements, like one will be the h1 for heading, and there will be two input fields there, one button, and there will be a link to the sign up page. So we have to shift all of these things at this center. So instead of shifting each and every element at the center, we can do one thing. Just put all the elements inside a div, and just put that div at the center, so that we can put the entire div at the center of the page. So just to represent this login division, this login form entire container, which we have to put at the center, I'm going to create a div for it. Okay, and there must be and we can consider a fact that inside a same HTML file, we can have a lot more divisions. Like one division is for, let's say, acting as a container, and one division is acting as a container for our form. One division may be acting as a container of the link. So in order to differentiate our main container division, I'm going to give its ID, like ID equal to container. Okay, so this division will be referring to the container of the entire user interface. This will include our h1 tag. This will include our form. This will include our anchor tags also. So that's why I have given it ID as container, because whenever we are writing CSS just to place this division at center and just to apply some background color or to background image to it, we have to differentiate it, because there is a possibility that we may have multiple division tags in the same HTML file. Okay, so we have to specify that we are writing CSS onto the same division only, onto the specific division. I'm giving it an ID. Okay, so all of you understood why I have given it ID?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me write one h1 tag, and this h1 tag is going to contain this login heading, and just below it we are creating one form, and inside this form we will have some input fields like type equal to text, and there must be a placeholder like enter username, and one more field we need, that would be for the password. So let's write its type as password, and here the placeholder would go like, yeah, enter password, and one more thing we need, that is submit button. So let me create a submit button for you. Okay, so this is the submit button, and on this submit button I would like to write this value as login. Okay, so we are done with the displaying the heading, we are done with the displaying the form, and just below the form we need one link, that is to visit our sign up page. So first of all, I'm writing a paragraph like do you need account and question mark, and just after it let's give a link to visit the sign up page. So for giving the link I'm writing this anchor tag, and let me just write a text, that is sign up, and you can give a link to your sign up page. As of now I'm not having any sign up page, so that's why I have left this href as blank, but it would be a bad practice if you are writing this empty href, it will be considered as a broken link. Okay, so that's why I'm just writing a hash inside it. So just to so this hash is going to indicate your browser that there is no link inside this href as of now. If you're writing the blank value, then it will be considered as a broken link, and that is considered as a bad practice. So I'm just writing hash. So our browser is going to consider this as a empty link or a blank link.
So can we use any other symbol instead of hash?
Yes, you can go with, but this is a trend which every software engineer used to follow.
Fine.
Okay, so I'm just opening this page. Let me show you this HTML result. Okay, so this is our page without any CSS, without any makeup. So now we have to make this page look more attractive. So what will be the first step? So first of all, we will give our container a width and height, and we will apply one background color just to see its dimension.
So we can add it in div.
Yeah, we can
Add it in div, whatever it is.
yes, can give. So for writing CSS, as of now, I'm just giving one style tag, and for considering the ID, I'm writing this hash container. Okay, and this hash container should receive a background color, and this container should receive some width and height also. So I'm giving a width like 500 pixel, and I'm giving height, for example, again the 500 pixel, and we can change it according to one need. And I'm giving one property, that is background color, and I would like to give a background color white to this container, and on the body I would like to give a background, let's say some dark color I'm going to use here. So let me choose one, any dark color that is okay. So I have just copied this background color and just paste it on the body's background color. Okay. So behind our container division, there will be a blue background, and this container will be displayed in the white background color. Okay, so you can see we are having this blue background color and this container is having the white background. Now what will be the next step? We have to put this div at the center of this web page. So how we are supposed to do this?
Margin.
We have to apply the margin auto on the left and the right so that our division can be placed at the center. So on which selector we have to apply that margin? On container. Exactly.
Container.
Yeah. We can apply it on container like margin. Let's say I want to shift this division from the top 50 pixels, and from the left and right I would like to apply this auto value. Okay, so you can see our division is taking margin from the top as 50, and from left and right it is at this center. And let me put the value as let's say 90 pixels, and let's check if this division, yeah. Okay, so now what will next? So now what will be the next operation?
Internal
Alignment.
First of all, we have to put these all the elements like heading, form, and the link at the center of this division. So we will change the alignment. Like I'm writing the value text align and just put this value center. So all the elements inside that container are being displayed in the center. Okay. Now let's do one thing. We can also define some border or some border to this container, or you can also make this edges of our container a little bit curved. Right now the edges are sharp. You can also curve the edges. So how we are going to curve the edges of our container? So to curve any edges, we are going to use this property, that is border radius. So let's say I'm giving a border radius like 30 pixel. So border radius is going to curve your edges.
Radius is also in pixel.
Yes, radius should also be in pixel. So you can see our edges has been curved by this property, that is border radius. And now you are able to see that this login text is having no spaces from the top. It is looking some way congested. So we have to shift it somewhere below. So what we can do is we can give some padding also. Like I would like to give this H1, let's say padding top. So I'm writing this value as let's say 40 pixels. So on H1, I have applied the padding from the top, that is the 40 pixel from the top. Okay, as of now, we are seeing this login somewhere below. Now, what will be the next thing we want to achieve?
The background image.
Aligning the username.
Shading of that box, shading of that input box. Enter username will be in blue shade.
As of now, these all elements are being displayed in the same line. So these are the inline elements. So we have to place them in the new lines. How we can do this?
BR tag.
We can use BR. There
BR
are
tag
multiple ways to do it. Either you can go with the BR tag, or you can go with the division tag. Just put all these input field. This means put every input field inside a new division so that all the division will be displayed in the new line itself. Okay, so there is one more way. Now just let me know that if I have given each input field a width of greater than 50%, what is going to happen?
Can you repeat that, sir?
So the task is,
Division
if
size
suppose
also
I
increase.
have applied a width of greater than 50% to every input element.
Not possible. No?
Sir, it will expand the division also pixel.
It will expand the division. Okay,
When it
so
goes to next line,
It will go to next line only.
exactly,
in
it
each,
will go to the
Yes,
next.
yes.
Suppose I have given a width like 70%. So 70 plus 70 will be 140%, and 140% is never existing.
Yes,
So
it should be in 100 only. Yes.
yes, exactly. So if first input field is having 70%, second also having 70%, then by default they will be aligning into the new line. Okay, so let's try to achieve it. So on this input element, I'm going to apply the width. So it is not always necessary that only the unit that is pixel will be considered. You can apply some percentage also. Let's say I'm going to apply percentage like 70%. So it will apply the 70% of what? The entire body or the container?
Container.
Exactly. It will apply the 70% of its main parent element. So the parent element for this input field will be this container. Okay, so this container is having width of 500 pixel. So this input tag will be having a 70% of 500 pixel. So let's refresh it. Okay, so you can see these all the input fields are having the 70% width. Now what next? So you can see this button is also occupying the 70%. But what we want to do?
Only
We
for
want to-
inputs.
Yes, we want to separate that button. Yes.
ID, we need to get
Exactly.
ID.
So let's do one thing. Let's give a ID
Yes.
to this button and write it separate CSS. So I'm just applying this button ID. So what ID I have given, that is ID is BTN. So now just write hash BTN and give it width like let's say 40%. So let's check what 40% width is going to look like. What happened?
Sir, you apply for URL.
Yeah, URL.
Oh,
Sign.
sorry. I have applied it on the anchor tab. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the width is 40%, but vertically, all of them are having no space in between them. So what we can do to increase the space in between them? So the space will be the internal space or the outer space?
Outer.
outer space,
So just to manage
Space
outer
scaling.
space, what we can do?
Space scaling.
Margin.
space scaling.
BR, we can add simply BR.
Spacing.
BR, we can add BR.
There are multiple ways to achieve a same task. Okay, so either you can give margin bottom to every input field. That is also going to work. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, we can give margin bottom. So let me give this input selector as margin bottom. So this margin bottom should be like I'm giving a value 20%. We will have a break at 11. Okay. Okay, so now you are able to see this that every input field is having 20 pixels. someone is having mic on, please turn off your mic. हमारी कुकर की सीटी सुनाई दे रही है. Okay. Okay, so one more thing is there. That these input fields are not having that much of height. So we want to increase their internal spaces. That is from that is at the top and at the bottom. We want to increase its height. So how we can achieve it? So we can increase the internal spaces of the input fields. So I would just like to write a property that is padding top, and I'm giving padding top as, for example, 12 pixels. And again, I would like to give a value of padding bottom, that is again the 12 pixels. So each and every input element is going to have this padding top and padding bottom. Okay, so you are able to see this input field is having padding top and the padding bottom property. Okay, so now we can do one more thing also. As of now, we have seen that just to apply any background, we are just using a single value, right? So this means we are applying a single color on the background. So let me write a point. As of now, we are applying a single color on the background, but we can also apply some mixture of different backgrounds as a background color. So this means, but we can also apply mixture of colors to the background. Okay, so how we are going to achieve that property, so that we can mix multiple shades, like I'm going to mix blue with the red. So in order to mix multiple shades, you have to go with the background property only. Okay, so till now we are using this background hyphen color property. Now if you guys want to mix multiple shades, then you have to go with this background property, and this background property you are going to apply a value that is the linear gradient. Okay, so this linear gradient is going to mix multiple shades for you. Okay, so this linear gradient is actually a function, and inside it you have to pass the value of multiple shades. Okay, so you can pass like shade 1 and shade 2 and shade 3, whatever be the mixture you want, you can pass the multiple shades inside the linear gradient. Let me show you this. So instead of applying only a single blue shade onto our body's background color, I would like to go with this linear gradient. But that must be applied on this background property. And I'm going to use this linear gradient. And inside this linear gradient, we can write the multiple shade values. Like suppose one value which I'm going to use is this red color shade. This is the red color shade which I'm using. This is the first shade, and we can mix it with, for example, this kind of color. So let me choose this color.
Or you are just selecting on that color.
Yes, I'm just selecting that color by just hitting on it, clicking on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are applying these two shades onto our body background color. So now just try to refresh it. So you are able to see that it has mixed your two background colors. One is the red and one is the purple. So that's how you can mix two background colors. So all of you understood it?
Sir, here first color comes on top and second one comes at bottom.
Yes,
right?
you can also change the direction. If you want to change the direction, you can give some angle inside it. Like suppose I'm giving a value like just rotate whole thing by just 90 degree. So you will be able to see this whole pattern is being rotated by the 90 degree, and you can give 180 degree, and you can give 360, 280 degree, as much you can give 120 degree as of your requirement. Okay, so is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir. Yes.
Could you
Yes, sir.
explain the
so
So-
let's have
90
a
degree?
short break.
90
Yes.
degree.
So, if we want to insert a photo inside login,
I
so
will
how
show you that.
can?
I will show you that. I will show you
Okay,
that
okay,
post break. Okay. So
okay,
just
sir.
have a short break and have a
Hello,
breakfast.
sir.
Yes.
Hello. Sir, you just select the color and paste in code, huh?
Yes, I have just selected and pasted over on my code, and just I have also applied one hash symbol over.
Can you show the code? Can you show that code once?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Before that color, we will apply the angle.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So let's have a short break, and we will resume at 11:11. Okay.
Hello, Gaurav. Hello, Gaurav.
आपण हा
काय सीन आहे?
काय म्हणतो? हॅलो,
हा, हॅलो हॅलो.
बोल की.
कॉल करतो कॉल.
बरं.
Okay, so welcome back after the break. So let's start. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great. Okay, so we are just implementing this login page. Now, suppose someone have asked me that how to put a background image on it. So I'm just telling you a syntax. You have to put this background property and you have to use this URL function. And in this URL function, you have to give the path of your image. Okay. And I would like you guys to implement this by your own. So that's the syntax. You can take screenshot of it, background URL, and inside the URL, you have to put the path of your image, whatever you want to put onto the background. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so now let's explore that what are the ways in which we can write the CSS. Yeah. So ways to write the CSS, or we can consider this as types of CSS. So we are having a first type as internal CSS, and one is the external CSS, and one is going to be the inline CSS. So these are the three possible ways where we can write the CSS code. Either you can write internal CSS, or you can write external CSS, or you can also write the inline CSS. So let's first of all discuss about this internal CSS. So what exactly this internal CSS is? So inside, whenever you are writing any HTML page, and inside that same HTML file, okay, inside that same HTML file, if you're writing the CSS in style tag, so that CSS is being referred as internal CSS. So this means the CSS written inside the style tag, that is the internal CSS. So as of now, we are writing the entire CSS of our web page in a separate style tag, and that CSS is being referred as internal CSS. So onto this login.html also. Okay, so onto this login.html, we are writing all entire CSS in this style element, or you can say inside the style tag. So this is being referred as your internal CSS. Internal means the CSS which is being written inside your HTML, and inside HTML where? So in a style tag. So this CSS is being referred as an internal CSS. Now, as the name suggests, what will be the external CSS?
Outside the style.
Outside the style, but where? In a separate .css file, right? So the CSS which is written inside the style tag, this means within HTML file, inside that HTML file is an internal. So a CSS which will be written inside a separate .css file, that will be outside your HTML file. So that will be considered as external CSS. So the CSS which is written in a separate .css file is being considered as external CSS. Suppose I'm going to put this entire CSS into a separate .css file. So first of all, let's create a separate CSS file for it. So I'm going to name this file as a style, and I'm just maintaining its extension as .css. So you can see the name of file which I'm giving is style. The name of file is upon you. You can give any name, and the extension which I'm applying is .css. So just save this file. Now we are having this .css file, and you are supposed to write only the CSS code, right? You are supposed to write only the CSS code inside the style.css file. Okay, so we are having this style.css file, which is the separate CSS file as of now. So is that file will get automatically linked with our HTML?
No.
We'll have to
No, sir. No, sir. We have to link.
Yeah, we have to manually link it. So now when I'm refreshing it, so you can see the CSS is not applying onto our web page. So now if you want to apply that external CSS on your HTML, then inside the head, you have to write this link tag. And this link tag will have some attributes, like one attribute will be the rel, that is the relationship. One attribute will be the type, and one attribute will be the href. So this rel attribute is going to tell that what is the relationship of that external CSS with this HTML. Okay, so what will be the relationship between our HTML file and that external CSS file? So that external CSS file is the style sheet for our HTML. So this is the rel attribute that is going to instruct. So this means this attribute names a relationship of the linked document. So we are naming the relationship as the style sheet. And what is the type of that file? So simply that file is containing some text, and the extension of that file is CSS. So we have also used this type in audio and the video elements also, like video slash extension and audio slash extension. So in the same way, the external document is of the extension CSS, and we are just writing simply text inside that. So text slash CSS will be the type of that file. And in href, we have to mention the path of that file. So as of now, our HTML and the CSS file is at the same location. Okay, so these are at the same location. So I must write the name of file directly, that is style.css. So now let's just refresh it. So you can see we are able to see this login page with the applied CSS. So this is how we are going to write external CSS. So what will be the advantage of writing external CSS?
Code get simplified and
We can change the main structure of the
I think
site.
it's more complicated. I
One more
think.
advantage is there. Suppose if you are having multiple HTML files and they are supposed to get the same CSS, then instead of writing internal CSS again and again, we would like to go with the external CSS. Just write a separate CSS file and just apply that same CSS file on various .html files. Okay.
Sir,
can
could
you
please show the CSS program?
Yeah. This .css file is containing only the CSS code without any style tag.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how the things are going to work.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, please explain link tag, line number 4.
Yes. This is what you are asking.
explain line number 4.
Yeah.
Sir, explain again.
Link tag.
What we have to do, we have to link external CSS to our HTML. So to link any external CSS, HTML is going to provide us a link tag. And these are the attributes for the link tags: rel, type, and href. So rel is going to specify what? This attribute names a relationship of the linked document to the current document. This means what is the name of relationship which we are going to establish between that .css file and to our HTML file. So that .css file is our style sheet. So that's why I have kept this rel value, that is style sheet. It is already defined. We can't change its value. And one attribute is type, that is going to specify the extension of the linked file, and the extension of that linked file is css. And what is the content of that file? So we are writing the text content inside that file, and extension is .css. And the main attribute here is href, that is specifying what? So that is specifying the path of that .css file. So which is the most important attribute for this link tag?
Reference.
Hyperreference object.
href.
Yep. Okay.
Sir, we need to write all body in a style tag also.
Yes.
When we create a separate style.
Please show that
You
style
are having a
class.
separate .css file,
yes.
then you are not supposed to write that style tag.
Okay. It will
Just only
automatically.
write your CSS code on. Okay, so now comes one more type of CSS, inline CSS.
Sir, can we see CSS code?
Yes, what?
Hello? Can we see CSS code one more?
This is your CSS.
Sir, please scroll up.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any doubt?
No, sir. I just read one screenshot for reference. So,
By the way, I'm going to give this entire folder to you.
yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now let's see what is this inline CSS. So this inline CSS is the CSS which is written directly inside your HTML tag. Now suppose if you are applying any CSS to this p tag, so whenever you are writing your CSS directly inside your paragraph tag, or directly inside your any h1 tag or any anchor tag, so that will be referred as inline CSS. Okay, so the CSS which is written directly inside a specific tag, okay, so that is being referred as the inline CSS. For example, in this login.html, we are having one paragraph element. So if I'm writing the CSS directly inside this paragraph, it will be considered as inline. So how we are going to write that inline CSS? So we have to write one attribute, that is style. Okay, so we have to write one attribute, that is style, and inside the style attribute, just write your CSS syntax. So let's say I'm writing the CSS syntax as a color value. I want to display the color as red. So this CSS is being referred as inline CSS, the CSS which is written directly inside a specific tag. Okay, so you can apply more than one properties. Let's say to apply font size, you can use this font size property. So I'm writing the font size as 20 pixel. Okay, so this CSS which I'm writing inside the paragraph is the inline CSS. Let me just refresh it. So you can see this paragraph is being now displayed in the red color, and this link is in the blue color itself. Okay. So this is the inline CSS. So don't you think that this inline CSS is going to make your code unreadable.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is not the recommended way of writing the CSS. Okay, because we are always practicing that we have to separate the concerns. So this will be considered as a bad practice if you are using this inline CSS. So this inline CSS is okay when suppose you are having one or two elements, then instead of writing external or internal, then you may go with this inline CSS. But whenever you are having a large scale application like of Facebook or Flipkart or Amazon kind of application, this is never recommended because we have to maintain both of the concerns separately. Okay. So this is how we are going to write inline. Just a second, there is an important call.
नयन मला सांग ना ते सीएसएस हॅशटॅग ते कसं आणलं
कोणता लाईन
ती
नंबर?
नवीन फाईल कशी आणली ती कारण की माझं डिस्कनेक्ट झालं
अरे आपण ती नवीन फाईल क्रिएट केली फाईल फोल्डर मध्ये.
बस फक्त नवीन फाईल क्रिएट केली बस.
हा नवीन फाईल आणि तो
okay.
तो पूर्ण स्टाईलचा कोड होता ना स्टाईल टॅग मध्ये.
हा तो
तो पूर्ण कॉपी केला आणि त्या स्टाईल डॉट सीएसएस मध्ये पेस्ट केला.
ओके थँक्यू.
आणि लाईन नंबर 4 मध्ये त्या फाईलचा फक्त पाथ दिला याच्या रेफरन्स. हे पहिले दोन काही कामाचे नाही. तर तू नयन टाक इथं टेक्स्ट टॉक सीएसएस टाकावं लागतं फक्त कंपल्सरी. स्टाईल शीट मध्ये काही पण टाकू शकतो.
अच्छा फक्त पाथ दिला चौथ्या लाईन.
हा फक्त पाथ दिला. हे पाथ इम्पॉर्टंट आहे.
अरे ते स्टाईल शीट झालं टेक्स्ट सीएसएस झालं रील
टाईप
आता आरियल
नाही
आपण
तुला
काय
टाईप नाही
म्हणतो?
का टाईप द्यावा लागतो टेक्स्ट आणि सीएसएस कारण स्टाईल मध्ये सगळं टेक्स्ट डॉक्युमेंट आहे ना तुझं.
नाही आरियल जसं आपण म्हणतो नाही का कारण ऍट्रिब्यूट म्हणतो तसं स्टाईल शीटला काय म्हणतो टेक्स्ट म्हणतो फक्त
स्टाईल शीट
व्हॅल्यू का हा ओके
स्टाईल शीट फक्त रिलेशन दाखवतो. समजा आता ह्युमन आणि आपल्या पॅरेंट अँड चाइल्ड कसं रिलेशन आहे तसं रिलेशन आहे स्टाईल शीट की ह्या एचटीएमएल साठी ही स्टाईल शीट आहे म्हणून ते दुसरं वेब पेज.
आणि जे टाईप आहे ते फक्त एक्सटेन्शन डिटेक्ट करण्यासाठी आहे ना.
येस येस येस.
मग ते हायपर रेफरन्स मधून एक्सटेन्शन डिटेक्ट नाही का होत. डॉट सीएसएस तर तिकडे पण मेन्शन आहेच की.
पण रिलेशन दाखवावं लागतं ना आधी.
नाही रिलेशनचं काही नाही पण टाईप काढला तरी होऊ शकतं कारण डॉट सीएसएस येतोय ना.
तेच मी पण
नाही होणार.
करून बघू आपण.
ते लिंक केलेले टेक्स्ट आणि सीएसएस तिकडून सीएसएस घेतलेले ना ते टाईप मध्ये इकडे टेक्स्ट मध्ये तू लिंक केलेले ते रेफरन्स दिलाय फक्त तू तिकडे. स्टाईल डॉट सीएसएस आहे ना तो रेफरन्स येतो लिंक आहे ती फक्त.
आपण जसं ऑब्जेक्ट बनवतो ना त्या प्रकारे वाटतंय.
पण त्या लिंक मध्ये टेक्स्टच आहे ना. ते याच्या स्टाईल डॉट सीएसएस तू फाईल मागवतो पूर्ण फाईल येते ती फाईल ऍक्च्युअली टेक्स्टच आहे सगळी टाईप असं वाटतं.
जसं आपण ती AHREF लिहितो तसं त्या प्रकारे ते याच्यात अँकर मध्ये लिहितो
कंपल्सरी असेल टाईप हे करायचं म्हणजे कोणत्या फॉर्मॅटचे टेक्स्ट आहे का कोणत्या असं
काढून बघू आपण लॅब सेशन. लाईट गेली रे आमच्याकडे फ्रायडेला लाईट जाते.
औरंगाबाद मध्ये पण जाते फ्रायडे.
अरे हो आज MIDC ला सुट्टी असते ना तर मग ते आज तर दिवस भेटतो त्यांना लाईट ऑफ करायचं.
माझा पण तसाच विषय आहे काहीतरी.
कारण ब्रेक टाइम मध्ये रेकॉर्डिंग ऑफ करायला पाहिजे किंवा पॉज करायला पाहिजे.
अरे ते 10 मिनिटाचा ब्रेक टाइम काय ते खुर्चीवरून खाली दिवसपर्यंत 10 मिनिट संपताय माझे तर.
Okay, so let's begin. Yeah. So now we are done with this types of selectors and the types of the CSS which are going to write. So we can write the CSS in the style tag which is there inside the HTML file, and we can go with external CSS also, and we can write the inline CSS, but that's not the recommended way of doing of writing the CSS. Okay. So one more concept is there which is there in your syllabus, that is check once again what kind of properties we are having. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I was having doubt in line number 4 actually.
Yes.
I wanted to know about this type attribute. What is the purpose of mentioning this type attribute? Just to link the, just to know the extension of the that CSS file, no?
This is this type attribute is the metadata.
Oh.
Yeah, just to specify the metadata about your link tag, we are going to use this.
Fine, sir.
So one more property and one more concept is there.
So
That
can
is
we say that we are importing CSS file in HTML?
Can we what? Import?
Yeah. Can we conclude that we are importing CSS file there? Can you just show me the code once again? On line number 4.
Yes.
So
What
we are
you want to
importing.
achieve?
We are importing CSS here, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so we are having one more concept that is box model. So what exactly? Suppose any division or any partition on your web page, so that partition may contain some padding, that partition may contain some margins, that partition may contain some width, and that partition may contain some height of height of any element, and that section may contain some of the content. Okay, so for any of the division or for any of the section, these are the possible things which we can have on it. Someone may apply the paddings, someone may apply the margins and width, height, and the content. So whatever be the property you are applying, like paddings and width and height and whatever be the content you are writing, is being considered as a box model. Suppose in any web page, we have this login page. Okay, so for this login page, this division will be considered as a box, and that box is having some margins. That box is having some of the width and height, and that box is having some paddings also. Okay, so we can say that the entire height of that box. So the entire height of that box will be calculated by what? Padding top plus the height of that box plus the height of the content. Okay, yes or no, we can say this or not?
Not getting, sir.
So
Entire, you are having any container, and how you are going to calculate the total height of that container?
You're not getting height.
Yes.
How you
Yes,
text of that height?
got. Yes.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Yes, x plus y plus z.
What is meant by content of that height?
And the text
म्हणजे ते
document.
आपण मध्ये लिहिलेलं means
When we write the
अंतर्गत काय
input,
And second, height means
the buffer height, spacing between two input.
one padding top.
Height of the content is okay, but entire height is what?
Entire height means the height of your main container.
Okay.
I'm going to calculate the height of
From the
entire
top.
box.
From the top, right?
Let me show you. Yeah. How we are going
Which
to
one?
calculate the height of this white box?
Yes. First padding mark.
No, you are considering height of the this box from top or bottom. Which one? Length of this box you are considering as a
I'm going
Length of
to find out, my duty is to find out the height which is starting right from this point. Are you able to see my cursor?
yes.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
want
sir,
to
yes.
find out the height right starting from this point up to this ending point.
Okay, length of it. Okay.
You can see it length, but this is height in any real life scenario.
Okay.
Height. Okay, so how you are going to calculate? So can we assume that if we are having the height property of container as 500, so this is the only height we are having?
Yes. If we
This
have
entire height
nothing
is a
in
500.
content, if we haven't
Suppose
something in content,
if we are having the container height as 500, is it guaranteed that the whole container height is always going to be 500?
Yes, yes.
No,
yes.
No.
If some content is not there, then only the container is there, then height should be 500 only. Na?
What about padding?
Yeah, depend upon the
Yes,
other attributes.
padding
Padding, yeah.
also. Yes.
Exactly. If you are having height as, let's say, 500 pixel, and there is some padding at the top and there is some padding at the bottom, then this means what?
That will be considered.
Yeah, that will be added into the given height.
Yes.
So whenever you are considering any container element and that container element is having its own height, and also there is some padding and at the top or at the bottom, then how we are going to calculate its total height? So its total height will be the padding top plus the height of that actual box. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, height of that actual box and plus padding at the bottom. Let's say for this division, I have given a height of let's say 500 pixels, and at the top, and suppose at the top I have given 20 pixels padding. At the bottom, I have given 20 pixels padding. Now, what will be the actual height?
570, 540.
540.
Exactly, the height is going to be 540 pixels. So this is being referred as a box model. So in any web page, if you are writing any division, and if you are creating any partition, so that partition may contain some padding, may contain some content, and may contain some height of its own, and the entire height will be calculated as padding top plus its own height plus padding bottom. Okay, so that's how the entire height of that section is going to be calculated. And what should be the entire width?
With
With the
that
same.
padding from left, padding from right,
Exactly.
and the
Container
also.
That will be padding from left plus its width and plus padding height. Okay, so that will be the exact dimension for that entire element. Okay, and this thing is being known as the box model. So this division as we are creating onto our web page, so we are referring this as a box model. Okay, so this box model will be having some original height, and it may contain some padding at top, padding at bottom, and padding at left and padding at right. So the entire box will be consisting of all of these things, like some paddings and some its original width and height and some of its content. And then if we have to calculate its width, then we have to add that padding, and if we have to calculate its total height, then also we need to add the padding at the top and padding at the bottom. Okay, so this is the concept behind the box model. So since the box model is a theoretical concept, practically you will be implementing it by applying the properties like padding, margins, width, height, and the content you are writing inside that box. Now, just try to answer it. if suppose for any division, I'm just keeping the height as 500 pixel. Now, in that division, suppose I'm having one image that is of 700 pixel height. Now, what will happen?
It will be considered and it
Yes,
will be added
it
to
will increase the total height of that container. Okay, so that extra height will also be added in the entire height of that box model. Okay, so is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is
Sir.
not fixed that whenever you are writing the height, you are making it as a constant.
Then we can inspect. Yeah, we
Yes.
can inspect it
Yes,
in
you
a
can.
web browser also.
If
Yeah?
your browser is also showing you the box model.
Yes. Starting from head HTML also.
See, at the bottom, your browser is going to show you this kind of box model for you. These may be the margins, this may be your and also one more thing is there. If suppose you are applying some borders, then border width also be included in the width and height. Okay, suppose on any container you are applying, let's say 10 pixels border, so then border width also be considered. Okay, so border width plus the entire height plus the padding bottom. So border is also being considered there, then padding also will be considered, then the dimension.
All the attributes related to that box will be considered.
Exactly. So that's how the things are going to look like in the box model. So box model is being considered as the collection of the margins and the border and the padding and the actual content which is visible there. Okay. Is it clear to everyone?
Sir, actual content size will be same as we are passing in the HTML, that 500 by 500 only. Yes.
Yes.
Only the external padding and the border is external. External material is adding outside, covering that content.
Sir, is that header going outside this box? Because we are
Which
saying
header?
that this H1.
See, when I'm hovering on this, it is referring that section, and this is your container.
Division, yes, yes.
This is your container. This is acquiring margin. Just see this box, which is at the bottom. I have selected this container. You can see it is applying 90 from the top, 90 at the bottom, and 128.8 at the left, 128.8 at the right side, and this. And as of now, we are not having any border. So you can see when I'm hovering on this border, so this is highlighting nothing. And when I'm going to this margin, so you can see this is highlighting that margin area. And this is, and into our 500 by 500 division, there is no external padding, which is there for this container. Okay. So I have just implemented this. So whenever I'm hovering on this 500 by 500 division, so it is representing this login box. And let's say when I'm clicking on this login, so you are able to see this. So this box is having this kind of padding from the top. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When I'm putting mouse on this padding 40, it is highlighting that area into the HTML, that it is occupying the 40 pixel padding. And this is the main content where 500 by 500 means what the width of this H1, and 37.6 is the height for that H1. Okay. And the same thing goes to this form. So you can see this form is occupying width of 500 and the height is the 192.
192.
Yes. So this is how this box model looks like. So if you want to calculate the entire height, then you have to consider the paddings, borders, and the actual height and the padding bottom also. Okay, so this is the CSS part which is there in your syllabus, but CSS is not limited to these things only. CSS is so vast that if you are going to give, let's say, 2 months, 3 months, then also you are not going to complete the CSS. Okay, so CSS is that vast. So you can, so as of now, we are able to write the basic syntax of CSS. We are able to write some styles onto our HTML elements, and by your own you have to study some more properties that are also being defined in the CSS. You can refer to any website like W3 School or Java T Point, or you can refer any online article just to have more hands-on experience onto the CSS. Okay, but we have explored some basic kind of CSS properties that we are going to use later on in order to build any application. Okay, so these are the minimum basic required concepts which we should know about the CSS. Okay, so now let's again come to the HTML. There is one more concept, that is the metadata. Anyone knows this term?
Yeah, it is a tag value, I think. Something like.
Okay, so
Information about file.
Yes, yes.
apart
Information
from
about file.
okay, information about our file. Since this metadata is not a term that is exclusively built for HTML. So this term metadata is simply data about data, right? So metadata simply means data about data. So you can use this term in HTML also. You can use this term in your database domain also, on your server side also. So this metadata is nothing to do exclusively for HTML only. So this metadata term is just a technical word that is representing the data about data. Since your HTML is going to display some data, right? Some data about the school, some data about any organization, some data about any hotel, any destination. Your website is going to show some data, right? And the data about that data is a metadata, right? For example, what is going to be the character encoding? Have you guys seen that concept of Unicode in Java programming?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, we are having some Unicode values like starting from 97 to 122. So that is the same character encoding. So which character encoding scheme we are using to display the content of our website? So that is being referred as a metadata of our web page. So this means you also have seen this thing like when you are searching like best school in Mumbai, yeah, or suppose we are searching like best school in Delhi. So there will be some websites which will be displayed by the search engine. So what will be the deciding criteria for the search engine to display the search results when you are typing like best school in Mumbai? So how
String.
your search engine going to work?
Rating.
The string
Location.
According to the rating and according to your search keywords.
Yes, yes.
Yes, according to your search keywords. So whenever you are writing any website, it's your responsibility as a developer to define the search keywords for that website. So that search keyword are being also referred as a metadata. I think all of you have heard about this digital marketing kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, I worked into it.
Vijay was
sir.
head in digital marketing.
Okay, so
CEO.
I had a
these
form.
people are usually working with the search keywords, like in meta tag, you are writing the search
Yes,
keywords,
yes, yes.
right? So
Different,
these are
different
the
50, 60
metadata.
text to be. Yes.
Exactly. So these things are the metadata about your web page. Okay. So whenever you are creating any HTML website, you have to mention some metadata. So in order to mention some metadata, we have to go with this meta tag. Okay. So this meta tag is used for what purpose? This meta tag is just to give the metadata of any web page. So this meta tag is used to provide the metadata for any web page. What kind of metadata we can provide? For example, we can define that what kind of character encoding we are using, which scheme of which technical scheme of character encoding we are using. Either we are using ASCII or we are using the Unicode convention. We can specify that thing. And also we can specify the search keywords. Okay. And also we can specify that what should be the initial size of our content which we are displaying on the web page. So for any HTML page, you have to consider that we have to write the meta tags. Okay, that is the good practice of writing any HTML page. So if you are working on any real-time application, there you are going to see these meta tags. So what kind of meta tags we can have into any HTML documents? Let's say I'm going to create one HTML file, that is meta.html. So whenever you are taking the suggestion of IDs, so these IDs are going to give you the meta tags by their own, by default. Okay. So you can see one meta tag is being representing what? The character set. So you can see here in this meta tag, we are getting the description as the meta element represents the various kinds of metadata. Okay, that cannot be expressed using the title, link, style, and the script elements. Like what is the character encoding they are using? Okay, then what will be the search keyword? We can't specify these things with, for example, the paragraph element, with the form element or the style or the script elements. Okay, so we are going to specify the various different kinds of metadata with the help of this meta tag. And in this meta tag, we are having one attribute, we are having one property, that is char set. So this attribute declares the page character encoding. This means which kind of character encoding we are using. So we are using the UTF-8. So this is the name for the for your Unicode character encoding. So why we are using the Unicode for websites? Because we want multilingual characters also. We need some English characters, we need some Hindi characters, we need some Urdu characters, we need some Bengali language characters or any South Indian language characters. So there are lots of variety of languages in which we can view our content. Okay, so these all the characters are being supported by the Unicode. Okay, so that's why this char set has been written as UTF-8. Now next, there comes a new meta in which we are writing the name as viewport. Now this thing is also important. Okay, so whenever you are writing any web page, you have to place this meta tag. Okay, it's always recommended to have this meta tag for this viewport, and which is specifying our content. So let's just understand why this tag is important. So it is always recommended, it is always recommended to have this, to have the following meta tag on every web page. Okay, it is always recommended. Why? Because we are just defining some metadata of our viewport. So now exactly what is a viewport? So viewport is simply referring. So viewport is the area which is available to display the content. Okay, so this means I'm referring to the browser screen. So viewport is simply the browser's area. So viewport is simply the browser's area which is available to display the content. So we are defining some of the metadata for the browser's area. For the browser's width and height, for the browser's area, we are defining that what should be the content which we want to display onto our web page. What is the width of what must be the width for that content, and what should be the initial size for the content. Now suppose if we are considering the browser area, are we going to have the same screen size in the entire universe?
No,
sir.
No. Everyone may have different screen size onto their devices. Okay. So how this thing is going to work onto any browser? So we want to instruct our browser that how much width you are having, please place our content in between the width. If suppose maximum width available, that is 500 pixel on the device, then please align all the content in between the 500 pixels. Now suppose if someone is having a much smaller screen size, let's say maximum 300 pixel, then we have to instruct our browser that please align all the content within this 300 pixel. Please don't expand beyond this 300 pixel. If suppose our content is expanding beyond the 300 pixel, then we have to horizontally scroll it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
View in
We have to
desktop mode.
horizontally. But as a user, we are having a habit of scrolling vertically. Facebook चला चला के हमें आदत हो गई कि हमें vertically scroll करना है. Right? But we are not supposed to scroll horizontally to view that same content. Right? So this thing same is going to apply here. So we are instructing our browser that please display our content in between the applicable device width. So you can see what name I have written in meta, that is viewport. So viewport is referring to the area which is available to display the content, or we can say the browser's area which is available to display the content. And what we are instructing it, so how should be the content visible? So we are specifying.
Yes, we can. Yes, I was trying to say. So that it will fit to any screen.
Yes. To make any web page responsive, we must write this meta tag. Okay, that is referring to viewport. So we are designing some responsive web page. So we have to put this meta tag. So we have to instruct our browser so that if on any device, it may be your laptop, it may be your mobile phone, it may be your tablet. So whatever be the area available onto that device, we have to put our content into that area only. Please don't make any user to scroll the page horizontally, because that will be a bad experience for any user if that user is scrolling horizontally to view any content, right? So what we are specifying using the content attribute, that please apply the width on your web page which is equal to the device width. What this configuration is making sense to you?
The related device width will be applied to the width of the content.
Exactly. So we are specifying that the maximum content width will be equal to the device width, and your browser is automatically going to calculate the device width, and it will put all the entire content between your available area only. It is not going to expand your horizontal width. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever you are making any page responsive, it is always recommended to have this meta tag. And again, one more property is there. That is the initial scale. So initial scale is what? 1.0. What's the name suggesting to you people? Initial scale.
Scale of the display.
Yes. So the zoom level. So you guys might have heard about that we have to zoom with 2x, with 3x or 4x. So here we are defining the initial scale as 1.0. So this means we have to display the elements by their original size. Let's say if I'm writing this 2.0, now what will happen?
2x zoom.
2 times the
Yes, every content will double up their size, and we again don't want this. Okay, so we are just adjusting the size of any HTML element using CSS. We are instructing our browser that to follow that rules only, which we are writing in CSS, that please don't show your own smartness to just double up the size and to half the size. We are responsible to write these responsive logics. Okay, so we are instructing our browser just to have just to display the content as that actual size which we have given. Okay, just don't show your own smartness. And we are applying that the content width should be equal to the device width. So that's why it is always recommended to have this meta tag to be inside your HTML page. Okay, so this is the meta tag for you. So all of you understood the importance of this meta tag?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now there comes one more thing that is again related to the HTML, that is the micro data. Now, what is the micro data? You can also Google search these terms, like what exactly is the metadata and what exactly is microdata. So let me show you this microdata in HTML. Let me open a web page for you. Yeah. So by reading its definition, what this is going to convey to you. Just read. Microdata is a specification that
small
is,
details.
yes, that is used to nest metadata within existing content of web pages. This means what? Suppose if you are having any paragraph element, let's say if you are having any heading element, that heading element is containing some text like best school in Mumbai. So that heading will be considered also as a metadata. Yes or no? If you are building any school website and you are writing one heading like best school in Mumbai, so what that tag is representing? You are displaying that value. First of all, we are displaying that value using h1 tag. Yes.
Yes.
But that h1 tag is also containing the metadata. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So how that h1 tag is containing the metadata, let me show you. Suppose I'm writing this h1 and inside this h1 I'm writing a value like best school in Mumbai or number one school in Mumbai. Okay. So I'm building a website of any school and I'm writing this h1 tag as a heading. So this heading will be displayed on the screen. All of you understood this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this heading is going to be displayed on the screen. That's okay. But this heading is also being representing our metadata. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
This heading is going to be displayed onto the web page, but we haven't used meta tag for displaying this heading, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we have seen yet, in order to specify the metadata, we have to go with this meta tag, right?
Yes.
But as of now, this H1 tag, this H1 tag is containing what? Our metadata also. Are you guys able to get it? What
So
are
we didn't notify this H1 tag to consider this as a meta tag. We only return this statement in H1 only.
Exactly. We have seen earlier that whatever be the metadata which is related to your web page, we have to keep or we have to store that data into the meta tag. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But right now we are using this H1, and this H1 is doing two things for us. So this H1 first of all is displaying one heading, and second thing is what? It is containing metadata also.
Like that, the body tag also contains the metadata.
Yes. Indirectly, we are saying that best school in Mumbai, this is the text which is being considered as a metadata. First of all, this is data which is being displayed on the web page.
Okay, but why we are using or developing this meta tag for it for special purpose on? What is the special purpose behind it?
Yeah, one special purpose is just to make our page responsive. We are using this meta tag, first of all, to make a page responsive. And second thing is I want to do search engine optimization for my web application. Like someone is searching on Google, like best school in Mumbai. Suppose someone is searching #1 school in Mumbai. So I want my website to be displayed as a first search result. So I have to place this search keywords into my meta tag itself. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Yes. But instead of writing the meta tag, we will do that. We will use that meta tag and we will write the search keywords like #1 school or best school. But what I'm trying to say is we are having this H1 tag in which we are displaying the value. We are displaying one heading that is best school in Mumbai. So along with this meta tag, along with any meta tag, this H1 tag is also having some metadata. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. This is I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Okay. So you can read this text again. So microdata is a specification used to nest metadata within existing content. So which is the existing content on our web page? That is H1 element.
Yes.
Yes or no? So whenever any search engine is going to read your web page, we have to specify that please consider this H1 tag as your metadata. Just don't look at meta tags only. Just consider this H1 tag also to read your metadata. So right now what we want the search engines. So we want our search engines not to look on meta tags only. So by default, all the search engines are going to look for which tag to find any metadata. By default,
by default meta tag.
exactly.
And
By
then
default, they are going to look for meta tag on, right? But in our HTML body, in our HTML code, we are having lots of tags that may contain some data related to that metadata or some data which is related to the SEO, that is search engine optimization. So we want our search engines not to look on meta tags only. Okay, so what we want? So we want search engine. So we want search engines to look into other HTML tags also to search metadata. Okay, so by default, all the search engines are going to see your meta tags only in order to find any metadata. But we want our search engine to look into other HTML tags also, because they may contain some metadata, because that's not because that may not be possible for everything to write inside that meta tag. Okay, that's not possible every time to write everything inside a meta tag. Suppose we are having one paragraph, we are having one h1 tag, we are having one anchor tag where we are giving links. So these may also contain some meta tags also, some sorry, metadata also. Are you guys getting my point?
Is to make the other contents also responsive. We are using microdata, right?
Not responsive, just to look, just to make search engines to look for metadata into normal tags also. Instead of meta tags, we want search engines to have a look onto our like h1 tag, or to look our paragraph tag. We want our search engines to have a look onto our paragraphs, onto our headings also.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why we are supposed to use this micro data. So whenever you are writing your h1 tag, a developer is requested to put a micro data inside that h1 tag, so that search engine can also have a look onto your h1 element. Like for example, let me show you that how it is going to do. Yeah. So just now read this point. Search engines, web crawlers, and browser can extract and process microdata from a web page. What you guys are understanding by reading this point?
You can read it.
Search engine consider other tags also as a metadata.
Exactly. That's what we are trying to achieve. By default, all the search engines are looking for meta tags only to find our metadata. But there may be a case where suppose we are having some heading, we are having some paragraphs, we are having some links that may contain some metadata. Suppose I'm writing description of my school. Okay, so suppose in any paragraph, I'm writing the starting date of that school. So that my school has been started in early 1970s or in early 90s. So that is again a metadata. Yes or no?
Sir, metadata is nothing but keywords.
Yes, metadata are the search keywords, acting as a search keywords.
Okay.
Okay. So now, suppose in any paragraph, I'm having a content like this, that this is the oldest school in Mumbai, which is started right in early 1990s or early 90s. Okay, so I'm just writing this content. So this is the data which my web page is displaying. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
But this is also containing some metadata. This is also containing some search keywords.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Suppose
Oldest.
yes.
Oldest.
Suppose if someone on Google is typing like oldest school in
Oldest.
Mumbai, so we want our website to be displayed as a first result. Then we need to tell the search engine that please consider this paragraph as a metadata also.
Sir, how can you write the metadata in the meta tags?
Yes. In this meta tag, you can write one attribute that is keywords, and you can write any keywords like best school or oldest school. Okay, so this is the way of writing the search keywords for this.
Sir,
Okay.
we can use description also.
Yeah, we can use description also, but that things are also related to meta only. Okay, but this is not possible every time that we are writing everything inside the meta tag. There may be a case where occasionally our heading and paragraph is also containing some metadata.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, we can specify some information or some metadata using this microdata concept. Okay, so how we are going to specify the microdata? So you can see. So read this point. Microdata lets you define your own customized elements and start embedding custom properties in your web pages. This means you can write your custom properties using this microdata concept. See this, for example, on this division, if you want to apply microdata, first of all, you have to add this property that is item scope. Let's say on my web page, I'm having one division. And that division is having this H1 tag and this paragraph tag. Okay, so this H1 tag is displaying heading of my school, and this paragraph is containing some description of my school. Now I want to apply some micro data onto this H1 and onto this paragraph. So first of all, what I need to do? So first of all, I have to write one microdata property, that is item scope. So this is specifying that we are starting the scope of our microdata. So just to write this property, that is item scope. And whenever you are done with writing the item scope, you can define your own property, that is, for example, item prop. So item prop is doing what? So item prop is specifying the name of that metadata, that what exactly this value is representing. Let's say I'm giving the item name, item prop as, for example, what I'm displaying, the best school in Mumbai. This is a search keyword.
Cool.
So I'm writing a value like search keyword. So there is nothing to do with the output. So whenever any search engine is going to read your web page, so they may search it. That item prop is having a value of, let's say, search keyword. Then we have to show this for the best school in Mumbai. Okay, so this is going to be the functionality of this microdata. And let's say, suppose if you are having best school, this. So instead of this, I'm writing the name of school like XYZ school is the oldest school. So I want to represent that this text belongs to school name. So what I can do is just put a small span tag over here in between your paragraph element. Write your school name in this and just give it your own meaning. So I'm giving this item prop as, for example, this is the school name. Or you can give item prop like this is the representing our school only. So now whenever someone is searching on the search engine like school, then your search engine is going to filter your website by this metadata. There is nothing to do with output. Output is going to be the same, like it is going to print best school in Mumbai or XYZ school is oldest school in Mumbai. But what exactly is the importance of item prop? So this is specifying that your school name, this is XYZ school, is representing the name of the school. Okay, so we are specifying the metadata so that any search engine or any web crawler or any browser can understand your text, and it can use that text to for any processing. Like if you are doing SEO for your website, then it is very helpful to write this item scope and item prop into your HTML elements also. Okay, so this is how we are going to use this concept of microdata. So microdata is simply specifying. So microdata is simply specifying the metadata into your normal HTML elements also. So first of all, you have to start the scope of your microdata. using this property, that is item scope. And whenever you are supposed to write any value for your metadata, you can write this attribute, that is item prop. Is there any change in output?
Which one, can you repeat that?
If I'm writing this if I'm writing this item prop or item scope, is it going to change your output?
No.
No, sir.
It is not going to change any output. We are just writing, you can consider it as a semantics. Okay. Again, we are writing, we are giving the semantic meaning to every content so that search engine can recognize our text. If you are not writing this item prop and these kind of things, then this is considered as a normal text and your search engine is not going to look for this. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you explain this line number 13 about item prop is equal to school, this span?
Yeah. In my sentence, in my whole sentence, I'm having the name of school, like XYZ school is my school name. Okay. And I want the school name to be recognized by the search engines. So how we can do it, because we are having this paragraph element, and this paragraph element is containing the school name, right? So I have to separate the school name. So in HTML language, we are having one more tag, that is span tag. You can use this span tag normally as you are using this paragraph tag. Just write your span tag and write any text in between this. Okay. So I want this XYZ school to be. I'm writing this school name inside this span tag. Like XYZ school, I'm writing this value in this span tag, and I have to give this span tag a logical meaning, a semantic meaning, so that it can be considered. It can be considered by our search engine just to have a look at what this XYZ school text is representing. So for that purpose, I will use this item prop. And for this item prop, I will write a value, that is school. So now if someone on search engine searching for school, then search engine is going to look at this search keyword, that is school. That is I'm highlighting here. Is it clear?
But sir, it is going to look at the line number 12, the item property also, right?
Yes, this is going to look. So I have specified the search keyword item prop. So this means this is going to specify a search keyword. When suppose someone is searching like best school in Mumbai. So this is being considered as a search keyword so that our search engine can process this value. And also we are making the search engine to process this value. So that's why I have written the item prop here.
Okay, when we want to put just a span of whole sentence, then we will use span that tag.
Exactly. Exactly. Span is just a random HTML element. As you can also use the label, you can also go with the span. Either you can go with the paragraph.
Sir,
Sir,
hello.
sir.
If
In line number 12,
yes,
if anyone enter the keyword as a Mumbai only in the web browser, still our website will come
yes,
on the top.
yes.
Only Mumbai also, because the
Any word,
search keyword replace as a Mumbai.
any word
Okay,
you are writing, any word you are writing in
and in line number
inside
13,
your HTML. Yes.
and in line number 13, we are specifically mentioning only the school
Yes.
word.
Yes.
hello,
You
sir.
can write
If
any word of your choice. I'm just demonstrating you that what exactly is importance of this item prop.
sir, if two pages have same metadata and microdata, then on which basis the references or sequence is showing on the search engine?
This will be totally decided by the search engine itself. there might be some differences. We can't say that these two, what we can say, these two websites are exactly the same. There might be some differences, like some more metadata will be there on one web page, or some less metadata will be there on any web page. So it will compare those metadata, and it's the logic of your search engine to display the sequence. It's not our matter to change the sequence. We can only request our search engine just to have a ranking first on that particular search engine. But we can't make it compulsory that on any search engine, whenever you are searching like best school in Mumbai, so you can't make it like your website should be the first result, your website should be the second result. We can't make it like that.
No, that browser itself, or the search engine itself filters something.
Yes, exactly. These metadata are searched by your search engine only.
And sir, the weightage of that metadata and microdata is same or different?
Weightage for what?
Weightage means the preference should be given to the metadata first or microdata first.
First of all, preference will be given to meta tag only.
Okay.
But occasionally, if you are having some HTML tags, those are containing some metadata and that are displaying some data, then you are supposed to write this item scope and item prop so that search engine can also have a look onto these tags also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Mhm.
can you repeat the line number 13, please?
Yeah. So this line number 13 is simply specifying that we are writing the school name. So this is going to display a sentence like XYZ school is the oldest school in Mumbai. Okay, so this is the simply output of this line number 13. But we are adding one semantic meaning. So I have to apply one property. I have to apply one property, that is item prop. If suppose this text is being written directly, then how am I going to write item prop onto this XYZ school? Just try to answer it. How we can write this item prop only to this XYZ school? How is it possible?
Using span.
You can either use pen, or you can go with label, or you can go with a nested paragraph also if you want. So a span is just a random HTML element, like any paragraph, like any span, or like any label. You can
Means
use
it is get used to differentiate the paragraph.
Yes. Why I'm using or you can also go with nested paragraph if you are finding it a little bit confusing. I
Yes.
just want to give XYZ school these two words. I want to consider them separately. So I have to nest them inside some another element so that I can process this value separately. Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And
So
then add the item prop.
yes, then add the item prop attribute.
And it will get preference first when we
So
search.
first of all, meta tags will be considered. Then after that, these item scope and item props will be considered.
Okay.
Okay. So all of you understood the concept of the microdata.
Sir, we are writing line number 11 division as item scope. So whatever content we are writing in the division body, it will consider as a microdata.
Yes, exactly. We are starting the scope. We are instructing the search engine that our metadata starts here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And preference किसको रहता है सर आपने बताया था? First preference.
Meta. First preference meta को दिया जाएगा. उसके बाद सर्च इंजन ढूंढेगा आइटम स्कोप, आइटम प्रॉप प्रॉपर्टीज को.
The crawler will go
मेटा को
to
सर स्कोप पहले कीवर्ड के बेसिस पे दिया जाता है क्या?
Exactly.
the crawler will go to the item scope, then it will go to the item prop, right? If item prop is not there, then it will automatically exit from there, right?
Yes. Yes.
It will not consider as a micro data then. It is
Exactly.
simply statement, printing statement.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. So now we are done with this session. I hope you have understood all these things.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, when you create this meta HTML file, how you create that all the tags
Okay, there is a shortcut
automatically?
in yes, there is shortcut in VS Code. Let me show you. First of all, just create an HTML file, and inside that HTML file, just write one exclamation, and it is showing you the suggestion, and then press enter. Then hit enter. It is going to give you the entire basic structure.
Okay, sir. Thank
Sir,
you.
one little question.
Yes.
I was trying yesterday to add a local video to my web page, but but the browser encountered a error that was a invalid source error on the web page.
See, there might be some issue with the source which you are giving there. Please check your SRC
It
value.
was it was a 482 MB that video.
Size is
Size
not
was-
going to matter.
Okay. It was same issue on the
Related to the SRC. You might committing some mistake in writing the SRC. Just have a
no.
look.
I tried it. I tried it for adding YouTube videos. It was not showing any after giving controls to the iframe also. It was not showing anything. There's a video.
Controls attribute is not supposed to be applied on iframe.
Nah, I know that, but to the local file, to my local file.
You have to write the video element and just
Controls.
apply the controls. And
Yes.
inside that video, you have to write the source.
Source tag. Yes.
SRC must be there, and you and you have to check your SRC, and you have to write that type equal to video slash and whatever be the extension of your video.
I have done the same for it. I'm not getting this.
Can you share your screen?
Yes. Sure. So I think it is.
Okay.
So map was it was at the right place where I put it in my code.
Show me your
but-
video tag.
Yes. This.
This is the mistake. SRC, what you are giving an SRC. Show me your video file in your folder.
In my folder.
Yes.
Just a second. Okay.
Yes. So you have to write
Got it. Yes.
F
File
and dot
folder
and-
name. Yes. Folder.
Yes. And one more mistake is there.
Yes.
So open your source. Yeah, this is your source, and type should be video
Slash.
Yeah, video slash MP4, and SRC must have to be like folder name slash file name with extension. .mp4 should be there in SRC. Okay.
Okay. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm done
Sir,
with.
I have one doubt also. Yesterday, yesterday's assignment, we had one question related to the ordered and unordered list. So I want to shift that the whole ordered list into the center. that links was went to centered, but the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and the bullets that still kept in the left side.
Can you show me the output? What exactly you want to achieve?
Okay, one. Okay. My PC is not working.
Just right click it and open.
Okay, got. So I want to shift this all things in center with this E, F, G and this bullet, square bullet. So these links were shifting in center, but the ordered list E, F, G was not shifting.
See, in this class, we have studied this, how to shift elements at the center. You have to give margin so that your entire element should be kept at the center.
With margin.
Yes.
Okay.
We have done it.
Okay, okay. Actually, I tried yesterday, but was not working. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, I have the doubts regarding that text area tag. Sir, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Sir, I have mentioned already mentioned the size of this text area, but still it's floating like this. Is there any solution regarding to fix this size?
What property you are using? Show me your code.
Registration. Text area.
This is line number 40.
This line number 44. Yes. Rows stay and
So
columns stay.
instead of giving rows and calls, you can go with that width and height in CSS.
In CSS.
Oh, okay. In CSS.
In CSS. CSS.
Sorry,
Width
sir.
and height in CSS.
Text area.
And sir, if we want to provide some dimensions to the doubt I shared with you for the local file, then we'll have to do that after the type that keyword, right?
In which thing?
While adding local video to the web page.
1 second.
We want to set the dimensions for it.
Just a second.
Still it's floating, sir.
Unit then a unit.
Huh?
Unit rep pixel or inch I think.
I have given in CSS only text area.
Px then a px pixel.
PX pixel. Okay. Sorry.
Pixel.
Do it.
PX.
Excuse me, sir.
1 second.
There is जास्त मोठा होऊन जाईल तो.
So you are not going to teach new topic, no, right now?
No, I'm not. Going to
So those who don't have doubt, can we leave?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Still it's floating, sir. I have mentioned in CSS.
Use
Can you open
percentage.
it on any
Chrome.
different browser?
Okay. No, still it's floating.
Why is it happening so? Yeah, for that thing, you have to write one CSS property that is resize and its value is none. I'm giving you this over the chat.
Sir, I have mentioned like this, resize equal to none.
Yes.
Okay. But sir, if I want to mention the size like 200, like 200 by 200, so I give size here after the none.
Yes, give width and height. Okay, so guys, as I'm having one more session from 12:45, I would like to leave. Okay, whatever be the doubts you are facing, you can ask in practical session. Who is taking your practical session?
Surya ma'am.
Surya ma'am.
Okay, so you can refer to Surya ma'am as I'm having some important session as of now. Okay.
Okay, sir, you're working.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Hello,